Okay, in the previous video we showed how to take a Sidekick channel and link it to a group of shades. So here I'm operating this group, and it does show up in the app here as My Room Shades. Although if we try to add, you can see we can only add individual devices as of right now. We hope to change that soon, but right now if you want to add link a group to a Sidekick channel, you will need to do it through the web interface. Now let's look at how to link a scene. So we can also create scenes. If you go to the IP address of the bridge/scenes, you see all of the scenes. Currently there are none. Let's say that we want to have one of the shades open and one of the shades at 50%. We could say new scene. Don't change the scene ID. You're going to come into the scene name. And let's just call it my scene. Devices, we're going to pick device 1. And you don't see this right now. If I make this smaller, you will. So device 1, action, open. Okay, so now the north shade is open, and let's take the south shade and set position 50%. So we now have a scene. I can try clicking the run button here, and we see that that south shade goes to 50%. Now let's say we'd like to do kind of the converse of that. My scene 2, north shade will set position 50%. Saving, we just let it load, plus south shade. You don't see the drop down menu here, but there's a drop down menu with all the possible actions. And we're going to say open, save, wait for it to load. Okay, we now have our scene set up the way that we'd like. I can click this other scene and we should see the north shade come down to 50% and the south shade go up to fully open. We can now jump back to the Sidekicks interface. This is the IP address of the bond/sidekicks. And let's say we want to link key 1 and key 2 to scene 1 and 2. So we can go key 1. So I'm going to select I had to refresh this page so that the scene information would resync. Okay, key 1, I'm going to select scene, my scene, save. And it shows up here that when we tap key 1 on the 6-key Sidekick, it's going to execute scene, my scene. We're going to click the second key. We've now set up to control scene 2, so we can press 1 for scene 1. It'll move into open and 50, and I can press scene 2. It does the opposite of that. We can also link keys to devices or groups if we wanted to just increase position by 10% on every device in the My Room Shades group. We should be able to do that. So that's now key 3. I can tap key 3, and both well, I don't recommend using increased position. But if we come in and do set position, pick the group My Room Shades, set position. Let's say we want to go to 20%. Save that. Key 3, when we tap it, we're going to send the My Room Shades group to 20%. I'm going to tap that. Go to 20%. That north shade is just set to a very low speed, so it's taking its time getting there. Press 2. We have, so there we're using a combination of scene linking for, we're linking a scene to key 2 and a scene to key 1. Here for key 3, we could have made this a separate scene, but if we just want to link one group or a small number of things, we can do it just as different links here under the keys. But if it's something more complex or we want to have it available through Alexa, we can set them up as scenes and then bring that scene into a key. For the channels can only be linked to devices or groups because a channel is associated with the up, down, and stop buttons. So we don't need to specify an action because when we link this north shade to channel 1, the up, down, and stop button are going to be connected to the open, close, and stop or hold actions on that device.